and welcome to the Gaslight. Tonight we're going to take you back in time to a time that is so fondly remembered by so many of the people here. And we have some of those icons here with us tonight. Our first guest that I want to introduce you to is going to introduce this performance. And it's so fitting that she does this because she was there. She was a fixture in the Gaslight. She was Bob Dylan's first manager, and she was married to Dave Van Ronk. So the person that knows what this was really like is Terri Thal. So welcome, Terri, tonight. She's going to take you back in time.
Which mic?
This one right here in front of you, sweetheart.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am not used to all these lights. My background is as a manager and as a public relations person, and I'm used to being the person in the back who publicizes the person who's on stage and helps promote the person who's on stage and who says, don't pop your peas. Be careful, look at the audience, remember that there are Klieg lights out there. I am not used to being on stage and being in the Klieg lights, so all of this is pretty damn new to me. So, hi. And it's kind of interesting to have it happen when you're in your 80s. Gotta tell you, it's weird. So. And the Gaslight was a long time ago. The Gaslight was like over 60 years ago. When I hit the village really in the mid-late 50s, there were folk singers like Theo Bickel and Cynthia Gooding, people who you probably never heard of, and they played in theaters and clubs very late at night. On weekends, after a theater would close, after the show would close, a folk singer would come in and be able to perform and get paid. And they were theaters where, I know one of them was the Theatre Solis, where I heard Three Penny Opera, which some of you may know, on Christopher Street. Absolutely incredible, fantastic. I was in my teens, but it was an incredible play, and it's kind of interesting because I will mention something else about it later on. But there was no place for young musicians to perform. These were older people, and by older, I mean maybe in their 30s or 40s. The age difference then was astronomical. If you were 18 and somebody else was 25, that person was a grown-up. It really was different. The difference between the younger folk singers and who had barely ever been on stage, and the older ones, some of the ones who had recorded, it was like they were worshipped. The ones who had recorded were worshipped. They were gods. They were successful. They weren't necessarily successful. They weren't necessarily making any money, but to the younger people, they were like, they had really made it. It was a very, very different world. You could hear younger people playing folk music on weekends. In Washington Square, when the weather was really good, you could, people played in the circle. At the American Youth Hostel on 8th Street, which closed probably when I was 25. You could hear it at a coffee house called The Caricature on McDougal Street, which nobody has ever heard of. It was upstairs. It was over what became the Gaslight. It was a little place, and Liz, the owner, let the young folk singers sit around and play for each other, not for an audience. Nobody got paid, but it was a place where we could hang out, and I was not a musician. When I say we, I mean the folk singers, and I was part of that crowd because I was part of that crowd. And they didn't get paid. The younger folk singers were so eager to perform that a group of them and some other people, which included me, organized a small organization called the Folk Singers Guild, and we sponsored concerts. We sponsored them in high schools and junior highs, and all the proceeds got divided up among the performers. And we were not professional concert players, and they weren't professional performers. And the least amount of money they ever got, I remember one concert at which there were so few people in the audience that each performer got $1. And there were only 3 performers. And I remember who 2 of them were. So they weren't exactly stomping grounds or ways to get heard. But then in 1960, something interesting happened. A very interesting, strange, slightly insane man named John Mitchell opened a coffee house in a basement room on McDougal Street, and he called it the Gaslight. And he started to bring poets in to read. The entertainment was poets. This was supposed to be, quote, the beat generation, and the poets were all supposed to be beatniks. Well, I knew all of those poets, and I got to tell you, I ain't never met a beatnik in my life. I would not know what a beatnik was if it hit me on the head, and it probably did. The Gaslight started as what we called a basket house. A poet would read, and either the poet or a waitress, and it was always a waitress, and she was always pretty. It was never a waiter. So either the poet or this pretty waitress would pass a basket, and the audience would be asked to put money in the basket, and that's how the poet would get paid. So Leroy Jones would pass a basket, and he would get paid. And then Ted Jones would come on, another poet. They both happened to have the same last names. And the audience would be very reluctant to put their hands in their pocket and shell out money for Ted Jones, because they just did it for Leroy Jones. And they certainly weren't going to do it after that for John Brent or for Hugh Romney, who later became known as Wavy Gravy, and some of you may have read about him. So the owner of John Mitchell had to do something. He had to either change the way he charged, or he had to turn over the audience. He had to have the audience get up and leave after Ted Jones, have a new audience come in, have them shell out for Leroy Jones, and so on and so forth. So he got a brilliant idea. He would book folk singers, and a folk singer would come in and play after the poet read, and the folk singer would drive out the audience, because the audience would hate the folk singer. You know the rest of the story. Within 6 months, poets were gone, folk singers were in, and hip, hip, hooray, the young folk singers had a place to play. Other coffee houses started to open, and the others were also basket houses, but there were some that weren't. And by 1961, maybe 1962, you could walk down the streets of the village. You could walk down, I don't know how many of you are New Yorkers, I presume most of you are, but you could walk down 3rd Street, you could walk down McDougal Street, you could walk down Bleecker Street. There was sort of this route you could take, and it wasn't really much more than 5 blocks. And you really could hear folk music coming out of stores and clubs up and down the street. Most of them were what we called basket houses, but the Gaslight started to pay performers. The Bitter End, which opened around the corner on Bleecker Street, a couple blocks away, paid performers. And Gertie's Folk City, which was a liquor club, and opened about 6 blocks away from that strip, paid performers. They started to pay performers a salary. And there was a difference in the clubs. The Gaslight was my home. When I wasn't in the Gaslight, I was next door in the bar, the Kettle of Fish. And when I wasn't there, I was over at Gertie's Folk City. These were the places that people who listened to Dave Van Ronk, Tom Paxton, Mississippi John Hurt, Pat Sky, Skip James, Phil Oakes, Mance Lifkin, people. I met the cast of this show last night, and they asked me, "Who did you hear?" And I blanked. I literally went blank. I mean, I could list 50 in the back of the book that I am going to show you, that I'll be selling later. I list people who were either performers or around the folk music world, people like me, people like producers, some club owners in the 1960s. And I sat down one day when I was writing that book, and I did that list just sort of idly. It was sort of casual. It came out of the inside of my head. And when I finished my initial list, there were 90 names there. They'd all come out of my head. And when you ask me who did I hear there, I go blank. It's like, I heard so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. It was great music. It was wonderful. My gods were the blues singers. My gods were Gary Davis, John Hurt, Skip James, but there were all these other people. Around the corner, the bitter end featured more commercial acts. What was a more commercial act? Somebody who could command more money. And they were people like Odetta, Peter, Paul, and Mary, Josh White Jr., the Chambers Brothers, Judy Collins, and countless more. Gertie's Folk City, which was a liquor club, and musicians had to join the union to play there, was the place that attracted everybody from out of New York. Everybody from out of New York wanted to play the Gaslight. All of the more folky folk singers also, they wanted to play Gertie's Folk City. All the more folky folk singers wanted to play the Gaslight. What was it about the Gaslight? It was the people who ran it. John was a very strange man. You will learn more about John this evening. When he sold the club, he sold it to some very interesting Southern people named Clarence, a guy named Clarence Hood. And one interesting story that I shouldn't tell because it'll take too much time is, I don't know how many of you know who Mississippi John Hurt is. Okay, Mississippi John Hurt, who was black, and Clarence Hood, who was white, and was a stalwart in the Democratic Party in Mississippi, sat down over bourbon one day and had a conversation, and they learned that they had been at the same lynching. It was really interesting. I was not at the table at that time. I learned about it another time. I can't imagine what John thought. I really can't. And then around also on Bleecker Street, there was a club called the Café Au Go-Go. And the Café Au Go-Go opened a bit later, and it was maybe the most exciting club in New York. I think the Gaslight was the best. The Au Go-Go booked people like the Paul Butterfield band. It booked my friends, the Blues Project. It booked Howling Wolf. I heard Muddy Waters there for the first time, which was a trip, I gotta tell you. I heard Cream there. I heard Lenny Bruce there. Uh, and this was the music. This was the music that we were steeped in. And the Gaslight was kind of the nexus of all of it. And throughout that whole time, the musicians were a community. I don't know how many of you saw the movie Inside Llewyn Davis. I hated it. Because it really denigrated the musicians. The musicians shared music, they shared stories, they shared friendship, they shared bookings. There was competition, but there was never spite, there was never meanness, there was never anything, none of those kind of cutthroat attitudes. My own professional story was that I was married to Dave Van Ronk. And at some point, must have been around 1960, maybe early 1961, David, who had a manager, which was a very grown-up thing, very professional at that time. We were very proud that he had a manager. His manager booked him into a club in Pennsylvania that obviously wasn't going to pay him. They weren't making any money, and they weren't going to pay him. Dave got angry with the manager, and he fired him. And he turned to me and he said, "Be my manager." And it sounded like a lot more fun than doing graduate work in political science, which I hated, because there was no American Studies program at the city colleges. So I said, okay, and I had just finished my coursework, and I was about to embark on a boring thesis, so I said, okay. And I became his manager. And sometime later, Dave came home either from playing at the Gaslight or from just hanging out, and he said, "I heard this really weird kid at one of the basket houses tonight. You gotta hear him. He's a genius." So the next night, I trotted down to one of the basket houses, and I heard this young guy, and you have read books that say this young guy who stumbled onto stage and looked kind of klutzy and couldn't play his guitar very well and couldn't sing very well and had this cap that he kept kind of blowing off his head at people and grinning in a really kind of inane-looking way. And he had a just really loopy-looking stage presence, and he sounded like Jack Elliott imitating Woody Guthrie. And yes, he was a genius of sorts. And how do you know somebody is a genius of sorts? I haven't a clue. I really don't. I just know that within 2 months, I was managing Bob. We became very good friends, and one day he said to me, "Will you get me gigs?" And I said, "I'll try." And I cut a tape of him, and I took it to clubs all over the East Coast, and everybody listened to the tape and said, "What are you, crazy? You want me to book that? Blah, go away." So I went away, I got him some jobs, and I forced the Cafe Lena in Saratoga Springs to hire him. And within a year, all of those clubs were begging him to work for them. And now, of course, everybody says, "Oh, I was one of the first clubs to hire Bob Dylan, blah, blah." Which is the way, which is the way things go. And 6 months later, Bob signed with a very commercial manager with a lot of clout, and his career started to take off, and he told me about it after he signed with the guy, which I thought was clinically interesting. I was not angry, I was hurt. Never occurred to me anybody would do anything like that. But we remained friends, and Susie and I, his then girlfriend, remained friends until she died of cancer sometime after 9/11, and she never smoked a cigarette in her life. A lot of this stuff is, and this was what the folk music world was like. It was interesting, it was fun, there was some wonderful, wonderful music. And while the New York scene wound down by the end of the 60s, I stopped managing because it had turned into a world that I didn't want to be in. it never ended. It kind of phased out in the village, but it changed, and a scene opened in Woodstock, and festivals continued all over the country, and you can still hear great folk music, and I think you're going to hear some of it tonight. So, I do want to tell you that after the show, my book, I will be signing and selling copies of my book out there in the back. Richard Barone, who is a wonderful writer and a wonderful musician, will be signing, well, he doesn't have physical copies with him, but he will be selling copies of his very good book, Music and Revolution, which is about that world. And he has physical copies. He will be signing and selling a vinyl record called Richard Barone's Sorrows and Promises, Greenwich Village in the 1960s, which is recordings by some of the people who played those clubs and coffee houses. And you will like the books, you will like the show, and I'm delighted to turn you over to my world. Thanks.
My name is John Mitchell. I grew up in Dormont, Pennsylvania, a small town next to Pittsburgh. I fought in World War II and moved back to Dormont. I was a used car salesman, and boy, did I hate that job. I found myself in a little bit of trouble, so I went to New York, where I found myself stranded in Greenwich Village with a broken down car. So I decided to stay. This is the story of John Mitchell and the Gaslight Café.
What are you thinking, Mitchell? This could have been so easy.
Let me get this straight. You guys want me to pay you money? From protection from harm?
You figured it out. That's right, yeah.
To be honest, fellas, I don't feel too protected right now.
We got funny, man.
Yeah. Let me see if I can explain it. You don't come into my neighborhood, open a business without protection. You understand what I'm saying? Because really bad things could happen to you. Capiche?
Think of it kind of like a partnership.
I work alone.
John. The next time I come around and pay you a friendly visit, you better have some green.
Don't hold your breath.
Oh, that was not a good answer, John. That's gonna leave a mark. Let's go. We got some business to take care of.
Have a good day, boys.
Never a dull moment with you, Mitchell.
I'm getting so close. I can't stop now. I've come too far. If the war didn't kill me, surely these guys can't. I can just see it now. Soon the Gaslight is going to be rolling in dough and swimming in pretty women. The world is about to know John Mitchell. Now, let's get this place open.
Ugh, what the hell happened to you?
Never mind, I cut myself shaving. You're back, so where's my permit?
Oh, well, don't get ahead of yourself, Mr. Mitchell. You will not be getting any permits today.
Come on. Is this some sort of joke? You're kidding, right?
No, not kidding. You see, using this property as a public venue is in violation of City Ordinance 203452.
I'm going to say it again. Is this some sort of joke?
No, no jokes here. I'm just simply going by what the book says.
So, what is this code violation according to your fancy book?
Well, your ceilings are too low. See, right here. Code 203452, and this is clearly a violation.
My ceilings are too low, huh? So give me a construction permit, and I'll fix the problem.
There will be no construction permit issued either. So, unless you know how to magically raise these ceilings, you will not be getting any permits today. And what I actually mean by this, if I'm not being clear enough for you to understand, is that you're dreaming if you think you were ever going to open up a beatnik bar in my New York.
All right. Okay, Inspector. Thank you for your time. I mean, I'm sure you have other buildings to inspect, and I got some pressing issues, too. Have a good day.
You as well. And, enjoy your coal cellar.
What the hell was that?
Well, clearly a violation of City Ordinance 203452.
First the mob, now this? Wow.
Yep, the whole town's against you, and it ain't even started yet.
That doesn't help the situation.
Well, how about this?
What the hell am I supposed to do with this thing?
Ceiling's too low, dig out the floor.
Dig out the floor? Do you know how long that's going to take?
Think of it like digging those trenches in the war. Get to work.
Yeah. War is hell.
Go down about 6 feet. That'll save me a lot of back-breaking labor.
Welcome to New York City, where everybody has their hand out looking for a little scratch. I mean, I stopped playing games when I was a kid back in Pittsburgh. So, you know, I don't listen to no. I want this place open, and nobody's gonna stop me. So, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Damn. Here I go again.
Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? I've been hearing his name all over the land. Well, what is a vigilante man? Oh, what is a vigilante man? To carry a gun and club in his hand. Is that a vigilante man? Sleeping just as still as a mouse. Man, come along, he chased us out in the rain. Was that a vigilante man? So stormy days we'd pass the time away, sleeping in some good warm place. Man come along, we give him a little race. Was that a vigilante man? Preacher Casey was just a working man, and he said, unite all you working men. They killed him in the river, some strange man. Was that a vigilante man? Oh, why does a vigilante man? Oh, why does a vigilante man carry that sawed-off shotgun in his hand? Is that a vigilante man? I rambled around from town to town, and I rambled around from town to town. They herded us around like a wild herd of cattle. Is that a vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? Have you seen that vigilante man? I've heard his name all over this land.
There you are. You figured you would be next door. Huh. Thanks for the help, by the way.
You don't need any help, Mitchell. You know exactly what you're doing. And thanks for the beer. I put it on your tab.
Yeah, figured. I'm getting there. It's coming close.
Did you finish yet?
Yeah, it's almost there, but hey, we're making really good progress, let me tell you. Oh, no. Why is she here? I mean, I don't want her to see me like this. God, she is so beautiful. You gotta hide me.
You could run, but you can't hide.
You think she sees me?
Oh.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, Diamond Jim. What's up?
Nothing.
What is that? It's quite a change from the fancy suits.
Yeah.
And a girl on each arm.
Is it that obvious?
So what is this? What are you doing?
Don't even get me started. It's been a day.
Okay. So, where are your roses?
What about my roses?
I noticed you always give your girls a rose. I know it's an old game, but I do like flowers. Oh, now that's more like it.
Baby, I could take you on a trip around the world. I live in the neighborhood. Give me a chance. I got what you got, what you want. I got what you need. I'm with you, baby. How you doing?
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, excuse me, honey. I am sorry I'm late. I mean, I didn't have time to change, and traffic was jammed.
Oh, that's okay, honey. As long as you made it.
Can I help you with something?
Hey, I thought I was doing her a favor. Her kind are lucky to be with guys like me and you.
Listen, pal. Your kind isn't one of us. So why don't you beat it before I gotta do something about it, right?
No problem. I'll hit the road, Jack. But I thought that's the way it was. I thought that's the way it is.
Have a good night. Safe home.
Well, I never, ever thought that I would be saved by a white knight. I guess that just goes to show you, chivalry is not dead.
Miss Etta James? I'm John Mitchell. I mean, you gotta excuse my appearance, you know. I'm trying to open a club next door. It's gonna be called the Gaslight Café. It's a pleasure to meet you. You know, I saw you play at the bitter end. It was fabulous. Hey, maybe we can get you to play at my club someday.
Oh my goodness, it's such a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Mitchell. And I want to thank you one more time for bailing me out.
No problem.
You know what, though? I had one quick question that I wanted to ask you.
Sure. What is it?
Did you save me because of who I am?
No. Actually, I saved you because of who I am. It's a pleasure to meet you. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Well. This rose makes a lot more sense to me now. That was downright heroic. I don't know, do guys like you still exist?
Hey, I got something to show you. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. Close your eyes. Now don't peek
Okay,
until I tell you. You trust me?
Oh, I trust you.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
This is it. This is my dream.
Oh, wow. This is your dream. Oh, yeah. It's nice. Oh God, here I go again.
Oh, Angel. You have been my biggest supporter and friend through all of this. The inspector should be here shortly, and you know you're my good luck charm. That's why I wanted you here.
Of course, John. Anything for you. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Mr. Inspector. Just the man I wanted to see. Hello again.
Mr. Mitchell, I don't know how you got this place up to code, and quite honestly, I don't want to know. That lawyer of yours, Ed Koch, made a hell of a good case. Perhaps he should run for mayor one day. Anyway, here you are. You're officially open.
Hey, Mr. Inspector.
Yes?
It looks like there is going to be a beatnik bar in my New York. Have a great night.
Sure.
Congratulations, John. I knew you would beat them. You're always one step ahead. The world, it needs a Gaslight Café. This is going to be the place for forward thinkers and new thought. Times are changing, and the Gaslight is leading the way.
All right, welcome. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And the rest of you. Welcome to the Gaslight Café, the grand opening. I am your host and MC for the evening, Mr. Hugh Romney, but you can call me Wavy Gravy. Oh, yeah, I know you heard of me over there, yeah. All right, now we're going to bring out, let's hear it for Dave Van Ronk, the mayor of McDougal Street. This kid is a beast. Enjoy.
evening, good evening. How we doing out there? Let's hear it for the band one time, all right? This is an old one called the Gaslight Rag. Well, another damn day, can't get away. I've got to make the gig on time. Flailing guitars and being a star, just working for nickels and dimes. Oh, silly damn grind got me out of my mind. I'm crazy if I stay. So leave your wife and bring your knife if you're working at Mitchell's Cafe. Yes, I had a dream that the gaslight was clean and the rats were all scrubbed down. It was hot and everything stopped. Oh, they howled on downtown. Oh, the vision was great and the coffee was great and rocks and dolls all stand. Well, I got out of bed and I cleared my head and I started a rock and roll band. Oh, honey baby, don't you carry me down. Pimps and whores and grunts on the floor, it's the finest place in town. Oh, pizza stands and skiffle bands, oh, the auction's got the next round. Oh, there's not much light, but there's plenty of fight when you're standing in a hole in the ground.
Look at all this cash. I mean, I knew we would be this big, and it happened so fast. Cash for applause is where it's at.
Yeah, only that applause is getting you sued by Violet Shenton upstairs. But I got an answer for that.
What the hell is that?
Noiseless applause.
Yes! You're a genius. Hey, why don't you introduce it to the audience for me?
Because nobody listens to me but you. Why don't you get some of your star patrons to do it?
Yeah, okay.
Marlena, my dear, this is my wife and my mistress. Ladies, Marlena Dietrich and her dear friend, Lena Horner.
Ah,
Very nice.
how deliciously decadent. It feels like I'm back in Germany, darling.
Ladies and gentlemen, look who just walked in. It's the world-famous Salvador Dali, accompanied by his wife, Gala Dali, Marlena Dietrich, and good friend, Lena Horn, and Miss Amanda Lear. Could this be his mistress? Come on, let's give them a warm welcome, shall we? Yeah.
Darling, it's wonderful to see you outside the protest line.
So, Dali has arrived, and also with my Dalilian paradoxical and contradictory personality. Dali demands quiet. Quiet like the beginning the birth of Dali, and also in black and white and glorious technicolor, not at the moment of birth when paradise was lost. So, also, Dali loves the curvature of cauliflowers. You can see in the horns of rhinoceros, and also in my diving helmet, and very quiet. So now, quiet for John Mitchell, because please refrain from clapping. So now, Dali deserves and demands great collective uniformity. So, I show you the new way. So, no, no. This is the new way. Now, do. Please, great collective uniformity. Yes, very good, very good. Beautiful. Oop. So now, we have a very good salute to John Mitchell and the Gaslight Café. Here, here, see. Yes, salute.
Wavy, darling, would you give this to John with my love?
I am happy to give this to John. And now, I am pleased to announce the winner of Miss Beatnik 1959, our very own Angel.
I just want to thank John Mitchell and the Gaslight Café for giving women a voice. I would like to read an excerpt from the Gaslight Poetry Review, published by John Mitchell. The Sermon by Ted Jones. So you want to be hip. So you want to learn to swing. You want to learn to be with it. Dig everything like Poet Ginsberg said. Well, you're going to have to get off your lovely behinds and participate in creative activity. All you need is you, the real you, and people who are hip enough to know what's happening. So if you want to be a beautiful non-square angel, sleep with everybody, that's possible. If you want to be a swinger, drink, get high, but be cool about it. Dance to rhythm and blues, but sit down and listen to jazz. If you want to be hip, you must own a copy of Hal, On the Road, and all the Mad comic series. You must not live in Greenwich Village and pay high-ass rent to greedy landlords. Either take in 100 roommates or move to the East Village. Wear lipstick only for kissing. Never wear a phony brassiere. Never commit adultery and get caught. Forget square diets. Dig foods. Wear blue jeans and shorts as an article of clothing, not a badge of courage. Learn to kiss the cats hello as well as goodbye. Go to all the parties alone and dance like mad with everyone. Dig all the old movies. Applaud in the wrong places of the new ones. Walk around home nude more often. Dig yourself in a full view mirror. There is nothing to be ashamed of in that mirror except, well, old virginity. Don't wait for that mythological right guy to come along. Read Gregory Corso's Marriage before ever doing that bit. Learn everything you can in school, then come out and use it against them. So if you want to be hip, and if you want to learn to swing, and you want to be an in chick with the out crowd, and to be hip enough to be cool without being cold, and remain young and never grow old, then pick up on what I just said.
And now our very own Lee Chandler will perform Keep On, Keep It On. And don't forget to snap those fingers.
Hi, everybody. I'm Len. Give it up for the boys. Say, hey, boys. This is Keep On, Keep It On.
while sitting on this crowded southbound train. It happened just the other day. I could have swore I was rolling back as the empty train beside me pulled away. Well, it seems all my life I've been on that track, with the people moving on and me sitting back. And they don't say goodbye and they don't wave back, so I guess I'll just keep moving on. Some people always say what I should do. It's something they seem to know so well. But what I've got to do is what's on my mind. They never seem to listen when I tell. But it doesn't really bother me that no one seems to care about all those things that keep me under there. And I can't help but feel there's trouble everywhere. So I guess I gotta keep on keeping on. Thank you.
How you come up with this crap, but that finger snapping worked. I mean, Violet Shenton dropped the lawsuit thanks to you and my lawyer Ed. I mean, it turns out that finger snapping is the cool new thing to do, and people are doing it everywhere. And it all started here, at my Gaslights.
Cool. What are you going to do about that new kid?
I don't know. I mean, he hitchhiked here from Minnesota, and the kids here really love him. You know, they want me to give him a chance, but some of his songs last 7 or 8 minutes long, and I'm running a business here, and I need to turn over the tables quickly, you know what I mean? I mean, his singing can use a little work, but man, he's got a way with words. I mean, he's gonna be here soon with his manager. What am I gonna tell him? Terri Thal? Oh, what are you doing here?
I'm Bobby's manager now, and I really think you should give him a chance, John.
All right, kid. Let's see what you got.
Great. Do you mind if I record? Trust me, you'll thank me later.
Absolutely.
Must a man walk down before you can call him a man? How many seas must the white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea. Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times can a man look up before he can really see the sky? And how many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Wow, kid. That was pretty impressive. And the answer, my friend, is you got the job. Mary, so good to see you. Hey, I just hired this new kid. Keep an eye on him.
Anything for you, John. Hi. Bob, Mary Travers. Nice to meet you. Hey, I got my own trio. You got a smoke I can bum?
Oh, yeah, sure. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mary. What's the name of your trio?
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Biblical, huh?
Well, originally it was Peter, Noel, and Mary, but Grossman thought it sounded better as Peter, Paul, and Mary. And yes, in the biblical sense.
Oh, Grossman, huh? I like the way he thinks. You and I should get to know each other better.
Well, it seems like downtown is a little bit uptown tonight. I don't know.
Fire Marshal, New York City.
Okay.
Excuse me 1 second, please. John Marshall. I'm looking for John Marshall. This place is over capacity. I need to speak to John Mitchell. I need to speak to him now.
Sorry about that, folks. I guess they let anybody in here, you know what I'm saying? Okay, now let's get back to business. We have a very special guest tonight, and I mean in the musical sense. The one and only man in black, Mr. Johnny Cash. Oh, Mr. Cash, would you please honor us with a tune this evening?
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Well, I'd love to play for you wonderful people. Can the band guys play Folsom Prison Blues? All right. That's it. I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling around the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps a-rollin' on down to San Antone. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blow, I hang my head and cry. guys are good, huh? I bet there's rich folks eating in a fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free. But those people keep a moving. That's what tortures me. These guys can really cook. That's it. Well, if they freed me from this prison, if that railroad train was mine, I bet I'd move it on a little farther down the line. Far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay. And I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. Thank you. Well, I'd like to do something with the new kid. Hey, Bobby, where are you? Come on over here, kid. I think they'd like us to do a number together. Let's do one of yours. I like your writing. By the looks of things, preferably one about a girl.
Called Girl from North Country.
Well, start us out. I'll follow you.
I got the words right here, Mr. Cash.
Call me Johnny, or it's a no-go, kid.
Okay, Johnny. If you're traveling to the North Country Fair, where the winds hit heavy on the borderline, remember me to one who lives there, for she once was a true love of mine.
See for me that her hair's hanging down. It curls and falls all down her breast. See for me that her hair's hanging down. That's the way I remember her best.
If you go where the snowflakes fall, when rivers freeze and summer ends, please see for me she's wearing a coat so warm to keep her from the howling winds. So if you're traveling in the North Country Fair, where the winds get heavy on the borderline, remember me to one who lives there, for she once was a true love of mine. True love of mine.
True love of mine.
True love of mine.
True love of mine.
John, you dream. I mean, it's coming true. God, that new kid, he is something. Oh my God, and your club, it's popular. I mean, it's the toast of the town. Woo. You know, you really take care of those kids, though. I mean, I think you might treat them a little better than you treat me.
Ah, come on. I mean, they're my kids. I gotta make sure they eat, you know? I need to make sure they can survive. I mean, no other club in New York pays their performers. That's what makes this place different. That's what makes me different.
Yeah, you're definitely different, John. You're taking care of everyone else but us. Hey, look, I get it. I do. But I'm here with you right now, and you're a million miles away, and for once, I just wish you would be here with me. Like all of you.
Oh, come on, you know. It's a lot running this place, you know? And there's a lot of other things.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot you won't talk about, like, I don't know, your childhood and the war and probably a lot of other things you're up to when I'm not with you.
Oh, baby, don't talk like that. I'm just doing business here. And the war? It's not worth talking about. War is hell.
John, what are we doing here? Like, what do you really want? Whenever we get just a little bit closer, or God forbid I bring up the future, you just shut down. It's like we take one step forward and 2 steps back, and you just will not let me get into that mind of yours. And I don't know what else to do.
Come on.
Look, I'm proud of you and what you built here, and the kids and the lives you're changing. I'm so proud of you, but you're married to this place, John. You're married to the Gaslight, and where does that leave me? Huh? Where does that leave us? There's someone else, John. He's stable and secure, and he promises the world to me, and he seems very anxious to deliver, and I'm not going to have to guess where I stand with him, because right now with you, it feels like I'm walking on a tightrope. Am I walking on a tightrope, John?
Come on.
Look, I wasn't built for the circus. I need stability with my 2 feet on the ground. You know, for what it's worth, John, I love you madly.
You like it, right?
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
Look, this is just a little trinket. I mean, this is just the start of all the spoiling that you deserve. And with me, I'm gonna make sure you get everything you deserve. Okay, listen, baby, I gotta cut out for a little while, little business, but I'll be back later. That's when the spoiling starts. Mitchell, where are you?
Oh, hey, if you guys are here for the singing audition, you're late.
Always the wisecracks. Didn't you learn your lesson?
I wasn't so good in school.
Yeah, wasn't so good in school. I bet you probably weren't there for economics, like supply and demand, right? You see, we demand you supply us with a percentage of your take every week. And that is the best insurance policy you're ever going to get, because it's going to make sure that nothing bad happens to you.
Listen, fellas, you know, I admire your tenacity and your persistence. I give you an A for effort on that one. But I'm not buying into your economics plan. So why don't you go shake another tree? Let me make this clear. I don't want your protection.
Oh, that's a shame. Because you're getting it anyway. Listen, Mitchell, I ain't got time for you. I got to take off now because I got a new fiancée. Yeah. I don't want her to worry if I'm out too late.
Look, I know I'm gonna miss miss John. And he was like a part of me. Listen, Angel, I need a provider who can provide, someone I can trust, who will put me first. Listen, a woman these days needs a man. We can't even get our own credit without a husband to co-sign for us. I don't know, maybe someday we'll be recognized as like actual citizens worthy of our own credit. Oh, but for now, a woman needs a man. Like, don't get me wrong, John's a lover, and love is grand, but you can't pay the bills with love. It doesn't put a roof over your head and food in your stomach. Look, I know I'm gonna miss him, and I wish him the best with this place and his kids. I do, but now it's time that I get what I need. And like my mother always used to say, Isabella, you can always learn to love.
Let me tell you something, Mitchell. I'm going to be real good to Isabella. I'm going to give her what you can, if you know what I mean.
So that's your plan, huh? Isabella? But let me tell you something. That beating was nothing compared to the one that she gave my heart. So again, that's your plan, Isabella? Well, let me tell you something. You better treat her right. Otherwise, I might just get a Louisville slugger on my own.
And that's definitely going to leave a mark. Here's what happens in cases like this. Sometimes you got to bust them up. Sometimes you got to take their girl. Case like Mitchell, I did both.
Hey folks, my good friend Maria Muldaur.
How are all you beautiful people doing? Bobby, it is so good to be back on stage with you again.
Likewise, Maria. This is an old spiritual to make your socks roll up and down.
I'm going down this road feeling bad. I'm going down this road feeling bad. I'm going down this road feeling bad, bad, bad. And I ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going where the water tastes like wine. I'm going where the water tastes like wine. I'm going where the water tastes like wine, wine, wine. And I ain't gonna be treated this way.
Take it away, Bobby.
Takes a $10 shoe to fit my feet. Takes a $10 shoe to fit my feet. It takes a $10 shoe to fit my feet, Lord God, and I ain't gonna be treated this way. Your $2 shoe hurts my feet. Your $2 shoe hurts my feet. Your $2 shoe hurts my feet, Lord God, and I ain't gonna be treated this way. Treated this way. I ain't gonna be treated this way.
I ain't gonna be treated this way, Lord, Lord, and I ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going down this road feeling bad. I'm going down this road feeling bad. I'm going down this road feeling bad like that, and I ain't gonna be treated this way.
Give it up for Bobby.
Whoa. Rough night, Mitchell?
Just a little batting practice, that's all. If they think a little beatdown is going to stop me, they're dreaming.
Yeah.
I'll find a way to get them.
Well, even the serious Mr. Mitchell's got to get this irony. Violet Shenton, the very woman that was going to sue you for noise, is the answer to your beatdown. Now, she witnessed that stupid Goomba's stupid kid pull a hit in the McDougal Alley last St. Patty's Day, and just because she's so grateful to you, she's signed an affidavit, and you put that in an envelope addressed to the 6th Precinct, and that is your Louisville Slugger. Now, that gangster ain't gonna bother you anymore, but you gotta keep focused, man. There's a shitstorm coming out there, and maybe, just maybe, you could do some good with this place and these kids. So you keep focused, keep that dream in your heart, and man, keep this dream alive.
Hello, my name's Cass Elliott. This is the first time I'm really doing this, so here's Dream a Little Dream. Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore trees. Dream a little dream of me. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me while I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, wherever they be, dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dream, wherever they be, dream a little dream of me. Da 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 da
I think that young lady is going places, you know? Oh, God.
Where's Mitchell? How come every time I show up in this place, he's nowhere to be found? I'm going to shut this place down. It's still over capacity. I'm shutting this place down.
Okay, I don't know what to say. And that, folks, was the New York City Fire Marshal. Let's give him a big round of applause with those finger snaps, because apparently he's going places.
So, how is married life treating you?
Like this?
He did that to you?
Maybe he thinks I deserve it. I don't know what to say.
Hell no. No woman deserves this.
I mean, what can I do, okay? I married the man.
I know what to do. We're going to go straight to John. He's going to fix this. Okay. It'll be okay.
Thank you.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, let's give plenty of finger snaps to Carolyn Hester as she sings her version of House of the Rising Sun.
Hi, everybody. How are we doing tonight? This is Rick. Everybody say hi, Rick. Are we all having a good time? Thank you, Bob, for lending me your guitar tonight. There is a house down in New Orleans they call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor girl, and me, oh Lordy, I was one. My poor mother, she's a tailor. She sews my new blue jeans. My sweetheart is a drunkard, oh Lord, drinks down in New Orleans. If I hadn't done like my mother said, I'd be home today. But me being young and a foolish poker, let a gambling man lead me astray. I'm gonna tell my baby sister not to do as I have done, to shun that house down in New Orleans they call the
came to your senses. Where's my money?
Oh. What I got is way better than money.
Oh, let me guess. Naked Polaroids of my wife. Well, pal, I don't give a shit if you wallpaper the city with them. Hell, I don't even give a shit if she pulls a Lady Godiva. I don't care. I'm already done with her. Let me tell you something. She wants way too much, and she gives way too little, if you know what I mean. On top of everything else, she doesn't like it rough. That's the way I give it.
What I got, you can't find. It's a signed affidavit from an eyewitness to a hit that genius over here did in the McDougal Alley on St. Patrick's Day last year at 10 p.m. It's in an envelope addressed to the 6th Precinct and will be mailed if you try anything funny.
Bullshit. Total bullshit. Bullshit. No son of mine would be stupid enough to let a witness get away. Right? Right?
Well, not exactly, Pops. I didn't know there was a witness.
All right, so this is how it's gonna go, right? I'll assume we're square, right? Right, fellas? Are we square? Look at me when I'm talking to you. Are we square?
What do you want?
What you're gonna do is you're gonna give Isabella a divorce, and you're gonna set her up with a nice big fat bank account to get her on her own 2 feet. And I never, ever want to see your 2 ugly mugs in my place again. Capiche?
Let's go.
Have a good day, boys.
Ow, Pops. Ow, ow.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Why'd you do that?
You're more. Give me that bat.
No, come on.
Give me the
You're
bat.
gonna hit me with it.
I'm goddamn right I'm gonna hit you.
You're
with
crazy,
it.
Pops.
How we doing, guys? Everybody say hi, Rick. I went down to St. James Infirmary to see my baby there. He was stretched out along white table. He was so sweet, so cool, so fair. Well, he sent for me at sundown, saying, girl, you gotta get here fast. Well, I tied the straps out along the table. It was so sweet, so cool, so fair. Well, my baby was a real strong-minded. They called him the Freedom Son. At Selma, Chicago, and Memphis, sent them police. They set them all around. Over there in a waiting room 7, I cried till my eyes turned red. Then one of them brothers, they touched me. When these were the words he said. Let him go, and God bless him.
Thank you, everybody.
Hello. I bet you're wondering why I'm dressed like this. No? Do you see anything different? Okay. Anyway, I took up going to visiting the children's hospital to entertain and read for sick kids. And one day I was walking into the hospital and someone handed me this red nose. And then another clown friend of mine, he was retiring from Ringling Brothers and Barnaby Circus, and he gave me these giant, gorgeous shoes. And then one more friend of mine made me this tie-dye outfit, and the clown persona began. Well, one day I was going to the People's Park in Berkeley for, a political presentation, and I was coming directly from the hospital. That's when I realized that the cops didn't want to hit me if I looked like a clown. So these cops start patting me down, and one of the cops feels this bulge in my pocket. Get your mind out of the gutter. And he pulls this out. And I said, shh, be quiet. Our leader is speaking. And he rolled his eyes at me, gave him back to me, and he goes, get the hell out of here. You're too weird to arrest. You're too weird to arrest. Okay, great. And now, I want to bring out Peter, Paul, and Broken Teeth to sing, performing 500 Miles. Let's give it up for them. Okay.
How are we doing tonight? Good?
I'm Peter.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Mary, and we're going to sing a song for you. The train I'm on, you know that I am gone. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles. Lord, I'm one. Lord, I'm two. Lord, I'm three. Lord, I'm four. Lord, I'm 500 miles from my home. 500 miles, 500 miles, 500 miles, 500 miles. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles. Not a shirt on my back, not a penny to my name. Lord, I can't go home this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Lord, I can't go home this way.
Well, John, you turned out to be my hero anyway. My dream man turned out to be a nightmare. You know, I thought I was riding high, but instead he just beat me up until I couldn't get any lower. There's something to be said about how you take care of other people the way that you do, John. And I've learned a lot from you. You know, I guess our road is at an end now, but maybe mine's just beginning. Being taken care of by someone else is no way to live, and I think it's time I start taking care of myself and maybe others like me too. Women being equal to men is a road to take and a fight worth fighting for. But wherever I go, and whatever I do, John, you hard-headed bastard, I'm always gonna love you. And I'm always gonna remember what I got from you. I guess our road is at an end now, but I'll see you on the other side.
I'm going to sing you a song about the man. Everybody give it up for the jug player. Thank you so much. I ain't gonna marry, I ain't gonna settle down. Doggone my soul, Lord and Mama. I ain't gonna marry, I ain't gonna settle down. I'm gonna lay around here and run you men around. Just when you think that your loving man is true, doggone my soul. Just when you think that your loving man is true, he's my man, your man, and somebody else's too. Somebody else's too. Give it up for the lovely band back here. Doing a great job. Big fat woman with the meat shaking off her balls. Doggone my soul, Lord and Mama. Big fat woman with the meat shaking off her bones. Every time she shimmy make a skinny woman leave her home. I ain't gonna marry, I ain't gonna settle down. Doggone my soul, Lord and Mama. I ain't gonna marry, I ain't gonna settle down. I'm gonna lay around here and run you men around. Oh, lay around and run you men around. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Now here's another treat for all of you. It's time for a little culture. Now snap your fingers for the great poet, Jack Kerouac.
Evening, everybody. I was on the road for 7 years. And I wrote the book in 3 weeks. nothing behind me, everything ahead of me, as is ever so on the road. What is that feeling when you're driving away from people and they recede on the plain until you see their specks disappearing? It's a too huge world vaulting us, and it's goodbye. But we lean forward to this next crazy venture beneath the skies. LA is the loneliest and brutalest of American cities. New York gets god-awful cold in the winter, but at least there's a wacky feeling of comradeship somewhere in some streets. LA is a jungle. A pain stabbed my heart every time I saw a girl I loved moving in the opposite direction of this too big world. What do you want out of life, I said. I used to ask that a lot of girls. I don't know. She said, just wait on tables and try to get along. She yawned. I put my hand over her mouth. I told her not to yawn. I tried to tell her how excited I was about life, all the things we could do together. Saying that, of course, I'm planning to leave for Denver in 2 days. I was surprised, as always, as how easy the act of leaving was and how good it felt, because the world was suddenly rich again with possibilities, because there was nowhere he could stay without getting tired of it, and there was nowhere to go but everywhere. The only ones for me are the mad ones, the ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, and desirous of everything at the same time, the ones who would never yawn, the ones who would never say a commonplace thing, but burn, 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 like fabulous yellow Roman candles exploding across the stars like spiders, and you see the blue light in the center pop, and everybody watching goes,
Hey everybody, I'm Len. I think the last time you were here, I was wearing the same outfit. It's one of my favorites. Say hello to the boys. All right, this is a long one. Stay with me. December 15th, the 61. Yeah, just the other day, I read the morning paper to see what it did say. The picture on the front page, it filled my heart with hope. I saw two women standing by a dead child in the snow. One woman lifted a blanket to see a dead child's face. Some books, some boots, some Christmas cards were scattered around the place. Another, she hid her eyes, she could not bear to see, saying, tell me to remember, does this child belong to me? And another one, she hid her eyes, she could not bear to look at the torn paper lunch bags and the blood-stained spelling books. Oh, at the bottom of the page is what they said to me. More pictures on the centerfold, see story in your pantry. That Union Pacific headline came cannonballing down. It was coming from Chicago, oh, and it was Denver bound. All the way from Chicago, it was 90 minutes late. And in Greeley, Colorado, 20 children met their fate. Herbert Summers was the engineer on that southbound passenger train. He saw the school bus on the tracks and tried to stop in vain. Oh, he said the bus rolled on the tracks as soon as it slowed down. Now twisted still and broken lights lay on the frozen road. Said Summers, I am 64. There is nothing I can do. And I've been on this same old railroad since I was 22. Dwayne Hans, the driver of the bus, said I am 23. I've been driving since September. Yes, this job is quite new to me. I think I'll stop, I usually do. That's what the driver said. Yet in the army of the National Guard, 20 children laid there. Oh, they booked him on the charge, and I read on down to see if the jury did convict him, what would his penalty be? See, the guilty were the man who gave Dwayne Hans that bus to drive. If he would have stopped, then maybe all those children would be alive. Oh, the guilty are the ones who signed him on to the job that day. But innocent or guilty is Dwayne Hans who had to pay. Well, the jury did convict him. They convicted him because the evidence was clear. But while the jury did convict him, his sentence was 1 year. His sentence was 1 year. His sentence was 1 year. Thank you. Thanks, boys.
I'm real proud of this poem I wrote. And if I sold it as a poem, I could probably get $20 for it. But my friend Tom Paxton said that if I put a tune to it, there's no saying where it could go. Oh, where have you been, my blue-eyed son? And where have you been, my darling young one? I've stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. I've walked and I've crawled on 6 crooked highways. I've stepped in the middle of 7 sad forests. I've been out in front of a dozen dead oceans. I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard. And it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, and it's a hard, it's a hard rains are gonna fall. And what did you see, my blue-eyed son? And what did you see, my darling young one? I saw a newborn baby with wild wolves all around it. I saw a highway of diamonds with nobody on it. I saw a black branch with blood that kept dripping. I saw a room full of men with their hammers a-bleeding. I saw a white ladder all covered with water. I saw 10,000 talkers whose tongues were all broken. I saw guns and sharp swords in the hands of young children. And it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, and it's a hard, it's a hard rains are gonna fall. And who did you meet, my blue-eyed son? And who did you meet, my darling, my own? I met a young child beside a dead pony. I met a white man who walked a black dog. I met a young woman whose body was burning. I met one man who was wounded in love. And I met another man who was wounded with hatred. And it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, and it's a hard, it's a hard rains are gonna fall. And what'll you do now, my blue-eyed son? And what'll you do now, my darling young one? I'm a-going back out for the rain starts a-falling. And I'll walk to the depths of the deepest dark forests, where the people are many and their hands are all empty, where the pellets of poison are flooding their waters, where the home in the valley meets the damp, dirty prison, and the executioner's face is always well hidden, where the hunger is ugly, where souls are forgotten, where black is the color, where none is the number. And I'll tell it and think it and speak it and breathe it, and reflect from the mountains so all souls can see it. Then I'll stand on the ocean until I start sinking, but I'll know my song well before I start singing. And it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, and it's a hard rains are gonna fall. Thank you very much. So the news is saying that there might not be a tomorrow if these missiles get fired, and nobody wants to die on the ground, you know, especially in the gaslight. So I'd like to invite my good friend Dave Van Ronk up here to help me sing this next song. Dave?
Bobby, let's sing this song like it's the last thing we ever do.
I will not go down under the ground, 'cause somebody tells me that death's coming round. And I will not carry myself down to die. When I go to my grave, my head will be high. Let me die in my footsteps before I go down under the ground.
There's been rumors of war and wars that have been. The meaning of life just blows in the wind. And some people been talking that the end is close by. Instead of learning to live, they're just learning to die.
Let me die in my footsteps before I go down under the ground. I don't know if I'm smart, but I think I can see when someone is pulling the wool over me. And if this war comes and death is all around, let me die on this land, for I die underground. Oh, let me die in my footsteps before I go down under the ground.
Now there's always been people who love to cause fear. They've been rolled in the streets for many longer years. I've heard all their statements and said not a word. But Lord, will you please hear my poor voice?
Let me die in my footsteps before I go down under the ground. Go out in your country where the land meets the sun. See the craters and the canyons where the waterfalls run.
Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, Idaho. Let every state in this union feel it deep in its soul.
And we'll die in your footsteps before I go down under the ground. And we'll die in our footsteps before we go down under the ground. Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Lucky break. All right, good evening. If you know the words, feel free to sing along.
Jackie Paper, loved that rascal Puff, and brought him string and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Oh, Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Together they would travel on a boat with billowed sail. Jackie kept a lookout perched on Puff's gigantic tail. Noble kings and princes would bow in ere they came. Pirate ships would lower their flags when Puff roared out his name. Oh, Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. The dragon lives forever, but not so little boys. Painted wings and giant's rings make way for other toys. One gray night it happened, Jackie Paper came no more. So Puff, that mighty dragon, he ceased his fearless roar. His head was bowed in sorrow, green scales fell like rain. Puff no longer went to play along the cherry lane. Without his lifelong friend, Puff could not be brave. So Puff, that mighty dragon, sadly slipped into his cave. Oh, Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
Thank you.
When all is said and done, all you can hope for is to accomplish in something life that was worthwhile. I think we made a difference here, Angel.
We did. When you make sense of things, especially during turbulent times, well, that says something. The Gaslight has changed all of us. You had a vision, and you went about it fearlessly. You grabbed the future by the face.
I mean, the world is caught up in politics, government, ideologies, greed, conflict, religious warfare, separation of races. I just wanted a place of common ground where we can make a real connection with people through art, poetry, and music. These are the things that unify all.
Agreed, and that's why you have to stay and continue on.
Quite the opposite, Angel. What I created here is self-sustaining. It doesn't need me anymore. It's built a life of its own, established by a steady stream of maverick talent who have graced this stage. I just have to get the hell out of the way and let it flow. Its success is why I can leave now.
You're truly one of a kind. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Angel. But please, do take care of my Gaslight.
Promise you'll come back and visit?
packing up already, Mitchell. Where are you going? Hey, I'm talking to you. Are you ignoring me for the first time?
Just leave me alone.
Aw, Mitchell, what's the problem?
Honestly, you want to know what my problem is? I'm my problem. I'm my own damn problem.
Oh, you don't see it, Mitchell.
See what?
This. This is what you were meant to do.
You know, I seem to lose the things that are closest to me all the time. And for once, the only thing that I thought I've done right is slipping away from me.
Now, what are you talking about?
This place. My time is over here. The kids are all grown up. They don't need me anymore. And once again, I'm left alone.
You don't get it, do you, man? That is what a role model, a father figure is supposed to do. You raise your kids to be good people, then you let them go and be free and live their own dreams. You gave them that. You asked for nothing in return. Who knows what these kids might do in the future?
Father figure, huh? I wouldn't know anything about it. My father packed up and left when I was just a kid and didn't leave my mother a dime. She was forced to raise us all by herself. And I was just a kid. And there was not a damn thing I can do to help her.
You're a good man, John. Don't forget that.
Thank you. You're right. You're absolutely right. You know, I am going to miss this place so much. I'm going to miss my kids. I guess my dream did come true.
And that, letter?
Oh. I forgot to tell you about that one. That envelope with the affidavit addressed to the 6th precinct, I mailed that.
Yeah,
I couldn't let that one go.
I knew you would, man. I knew you would. You know, when all is said and done, I think the gaslight saved you.
Yeah, but my one regret in life is I couldn't save you.
Private Mitchell!
Yes, sir, Lieutenant!
War is hell. But at least you tried. At ease, Private. It's time to look at the bright side.
From the dark end of the street,
from the dark end of the street,
to the bright side of the road,
to the bright side of the road.
We'll be lovers once again.
on the bright side of the road. Little darling, come with me. Won't you help me share my load? Help me share my load. From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road.
Into this life we'll take.
Into this life we're born.
Sometimes we don't know why.
Sometimes
time goes by so fast. Oh, in a twinkle of an eye. Oh, let's enjoy it while we can.
Let's enjoy it while we can.
It's to help me share my load.
Won't you help me share my load?
From the dark end of the street
to the bright side of the road.
Go ahead, fellas.
Into this life we're born. Into this life, baby, sometimes we don't know why.
No.
And it seems to go by so fast. So fast. In the twinkling of an eye. Oh.
Let's enjoy it while we can.
Let's enjoy it while we can.
Can you help me share my load?
Won't you help me share my load?
From the dark end of the street
to the bright side of the road.
Hey, from the dark end of the street.
From the dark end of the street
to the bright side of the road, baby.
To the bright side of the road.
Oh, we'll be lovers once again.
On the right side of the road.
Oh, one more time, say it. From the dark end of the street.
From the dark end of the street.
To the bright side of the road.
To the bright side of the road.
Yes, we'll be lovers, we'll be lovers, we'll be lovers once again.
On the bright side of the road.
Oh, the bright side of the road, yeah. On the bright side of the road, baby.
On the bright side of the road. Ooh.
Yes, sir.
Land is your land, this land is my land. California to New York Island, Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, saw above me that endless skyway, saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps, sparkling sands of her diamond desert. Her voice was sounding This land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining, then I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling. A voice was chanting as the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me. This land is my land, California to the New York Island, to the redwood forest, to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. One more time, come on. This land is your land, this land is my land, California to the New York Island, to the redwood forest, to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I said this land was made for you and me. And give it up for Jimmy Hoyson, our music producer up there in the booth. Thank you so much.
Let's get the actors up here to give a bow, huh? Great job, everybody.
Larry.
Our everything, writer, producer, stenographer, go-getter, and of course our executive producer and creator, Lynda Schneider, writer, producer. Couldn't have done it without her. Take a bow.
Didn't want to let that one go by, baby.
Didn't let that one go.
Didn't let that one go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it tonight. We really enjoyed having this experience with you, and I hope it brought back a little bit of Greenwich Village to all of you. Jimmy, co-producer, hiding up there. Let's hear it for Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Jimmy is a very, very never lets you know that he's got 6 Grammys. The first time I met him, he didn't even tell me that I had to drag it out of him. I love you, Jimmy. We love you, Jimmy. And we've got Richard Barone from Music and Revolution, who's in the lobby with some of his stuff. And we have Terri. So go out and say hi to him. And there's hoodies and sweatshirts. T-shirts, I'm sorry. Hoodies and T-shirts. You can tell I'm not the commercial one. Thank you so much again. Our musicians are incredible. Let's hear it for them. And I could be here all night telling you how great all of them have been to work with. Small and big. Small and big right here. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening and always remember the village.